Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Beer vs. Ivy, episode number 8. I'm your co-host, Sanger Saul, brought to you as always with my amazing co-host, Jackson Gross. Jackson, it's Monday. How are we doing today?
I'm doing all right. It has been a very long week. Tons of shifts at my job at Walgreens. I just had a closing shift last night. I got a closing shift tonight. But it's good. I'll have 3 days off. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for Thanksgiving. Only work Friday, Saturday, and then I'll be in Milwaukee on Sunday covering some NBA. So that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, no, things have been really good. Just not much else going on. I've been crazy busy with everything. But yeah, I'm excited to talk some baseball. I feel like it's been a while since I've been able to sit down, look at some baseball stuff, and just get ready to talk. But how are you, Sai?
I'm doing good. I'm on Thanksgiving break finally, which is this is so needed. I get all week off, get to enjoy Thanksgiving this on Thursday with my family and such, and I'm doing good. I'm resetting the mind, just getting right for finals and such. And I got a couple of low key weeks until December. December I'm very, very busy, which I'm looking forward to. So just enjoying time. Just got a new tattoo on Friday, so I'm healing. Really happy about that. But
Nice.
It's Monday. Here to talk some baseball. The stove has been hot, to say the least. So
Yeah, for sure. But with how hot the stove is and how things have been going, and there's just a lot to talk about, we had to bring somebody else in. We had to bring in one of our good friends here at Third Down Thursdays. You know him as one of our best Falcons and Cubs beat writers. That's Mr. Brayden Conrad. Brayden, how you doing, my guy?
Well, I'm doing good, Jackson. First of all, thanks for having me on, guys. Super, super hyped to talk baseball. Baseball in November during football season. I mean, come on. What gets better than that? Anyway, I'm doing really good, guys. Finishing up my semester down here in Arizona. Thanksgiving's at the end of the week. I'm also excited for that break. And then my semester actually ends next week. So then I get to go back home soon. So again, happy to be with you guys.
nice.
That's awesome to hear. I'm excited everyone's getting a little time off from school and work and life for a little bit. And to everyone watching, have a fantastic Thanksgiving with your families. Take all the rest and time you need. If you're doing a regular Thanksgiving or Friendsgiving, please have a wonderful time this week. With all that out of the way, we've already had some breaking news today in the world of baseball. And it wouldn't be a Beer versus Ivy without breaking news during the show. And we'll start with Mr. Reynaldo Lopez, former White Sox and Angels pitcher. He is going to the Atlanta Braves. The Braves have been one of the most active teams so far in the offseason, getting a 3-year deal. And Sai, I think you or Brayden told me about some interesting things the Braves are potentially planning on doing with Reynaldo.
So the Braves, this is the most Braves thing ever, but they are planning to work out Reynaldo during the spring as a starter, which he started his career out with the White Sox in 2018, 2019 as a starting pitcher. So they lose Soroka to the White Sox, ironically, then bring in a former White Sox starting pitcher and Reynaldo to either fill the hole or be like a swingman, or I don't really know what they're going to do. I don't know if the switchover is going to work, because I personally believe, and what I've personally seen, is that Reynaldo Lopez works better in the bullpen. But the Braves are maniacs. They know how to fix pitchers. They can do whatever they want to do. So, of course, I bring in somebody who was formerly a starter and basically just like, yeah, we like your flexibility. We like what you can be. Can you do it again? So it'll be interesting to see.
Brayden, your thoughts on Reynaldo Lopez heading to Atlanta?
Well, I mean, it's a good pickup for Atlanta. I mean, what else does Atlanta really need, in terms of pitching? But Jackson, you said it that earlier that the Cubs or the Braves saw Javier Assad and got jealous. why? So again, I just go back to the question of like, of course, this is something that Atlanta does. Lopez is a good pitcher. He's got experience starting and closing. He's gonna be good for him. So wherever he ends up pitching for him, it's gonna probably work out.
Yeah, just taking a look.
It's gonna work out.
Yeah, I was just taking a look at it as when he was primarily a starting pitcher. That was basically through the 2019 season. So 2016 and 2019, he had a 25-31 record, a 4.67 ERA, a 9 hits per 9, a 3.4 walks per 9, 7.6 strikeouts, and an ERA plus of 94. League average is 100. So I would more anticipate the swingman approach with Lopez. I don't think they're looking to him to be a frontline. Well, I wouldn't say even frontline, just a minimum, like a starter. But yeah, I know, Jack. The Braves get everyone for minimum wage. Like it's truly ridiculous at this point. Yeah, I really expect that for Lopez. I think he's a solid pitcher. The Braves have shipped out a ton of pitchers, which we'll get into in a little bit. But yeah, I think this is good for them. But yeah, so moving on. One of the big free agent pitchers that one Mr. Cy Ingersoll was hoping was going to wear, I believe it was this jersey. I think that's what he was hoping for. Yeah, I kept it in from last week. You already know.
I didn't.
He was hoping he was going to wear those colors, but Mr. Aaron Nola has re-signed with the Philadelphia Phillies. I think the final number was 7 years, $172 million, so just short of $25 million per year. So I'll let you go first. I think he was one of your dream pitchers to sign for the offseason when we talked last week. Tell me how you're feeling.
I don't even know how to feel because the report came out, it was yesterday, the day before, that Phillies are ramping up talks, and the Braves are in talks, and just nowhere was the Cardinals mentioned, and that's what I have a problem with. Knowing that we need 2 to 3 starting pitchers of quality, and reports came out since a month and a half ago, that the Cardinals are in on Aaron Nola, that the Cardinals are interested in Aaron Nola, that they're like one of the main guys that they want. And they had conversations. Nola's agent informed them Mozeliak the morning of, hey, he's going to go back to the Phillies. Sorry, we're not interested in you. And it's just, did we not try hard enough? Did he just really want to go back to – did he really want that hometown discount to get not even $200 million for 7 years? Like, what? I'm upset, but I'm not surprised.
Well, I think I remember seeing a report saying that the Cardinals didn't even meet with him. Like, they didn't even attempt to reach out or meet with him. So that's a little concerning. Brayden, I would usually take on the dunking responsibilities here, but why don't you finish off this alley-oop here, man?
Yeah, well, I actually I agree with Cy here that it's kind of it seems cheap. It seems cheap because Zach Wheeler is also in Philly, and he seems to have taken over that ace role, I would say, especially after last year. And the Phillies aren't done going after pitching. Like, they're still in that big pitching market with Yamamoto and Cease. So this is interesting that it's 7 years for 120 or 172 million, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that was the alley-oop you were looking for, but
no, you're good, man. You're good. But yeah, no, I think this is a good deal for the Phillies, and I agree. I don't know. I think Zach Wheeler's just been more consistent. I think that's been the biggest thing. Is Aaron Nola has had some really good stretches of his career, but then he's had some very inconsistent portions of his career as well, which I think is a little concerning for Philly. So, and which is why it was probably less than $200 million. So if we take a look just to some of his past, like 2018, he was an all-star and he finished third in the Cy Young voting. He had a 2.37 ERA. 2019, he was still solid, led the league in games started, 387, 328. But then 2021, he had a 4.63. 2022, he goes out for 3.25 ERA, and then he goes back to a 4.46 this past season. So I think that's been the big thing. If they can find any sort of consistency where he has like a 3.5 to 3.2 ERA every year, at least for the first 4 or 5 years of that deal, that's going to be a great swing for Philly. And the Phillies are just good. They're really good.
Yeah. And especially if they end up picking another of those big name starters this year to complement Wheeler and Nola. I mean, it's going to be hard to argue that Philly could be the best team in the NL, but
it's not fair. I don't, because I was looking. They have to. So they secured Aaron Nola this year. They gave Aaron Nola the bag. They have to do this all again with Zach Wheeler next year.
Yep.
This is how I'm looking at how Philly attacked this. Is they're like, okay, Aaron Nola spent his whole career with Philly. He loves it here. It's easier to bring him back because they probably feel less likely that they're going to bring Wheeler back next season, or that Wheeler is going to demand more money from a team. So it also plays into why they brought Nola back, but why they're also still heavily involved in the market, even with bringing back their ace. Because that rotation 1 to 5 is still great. They need what, a fifth starter, but they have Nola, Wheeler, Suarez. They still have Taijuan Walker. They need a fifth starter, but they have young guys like Painter that are waiting in the minor leagues. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. But I swear to God, if they bring in Yamamoto or Gray or Montgomery, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I just don't even want to think about it.
I think they may even go for someone maybe a little bit more low key. Maybe they go after Marcus Stroman.
Oh yeah,
I think
or a Seth Lugo maybe
Seth Lugo. I mean, Rangers a lefty, right?
Yes, Rangers a lefty. Lugo's a righty.
Yeah, so maybe so someone like that. I think any of those three guys would be a perfect third or fourth. I mean, obviously Stroman you'd push close to third starter, but
Stroman would be the third.
But I think Lugo and who was the other guy? There was someone else you said, I forgot. Or I think it was just Lugo. Never mind. But yeah, Lugo would be the perfect fourth. You could throw Taijuan Walker as your fifth, which is ridiculous. So the Phillies are sitting real good right now, unfortunately, as they always seem to do. So in response, what did John Mozeliak do? What did he do? We found this out today, that the Cardinals have signed Lance Lynn on a 1-year deal worth $10 million. It has a club option and with escalators to where the deal could be worth $26 million. Now, I have to credit this person here because it must have done a lot of hard work to make a jersey swap this good for Lance Lynn. Just look, it looks like he's actually wearing the jersey, but I digress.
We might have sources that he may have spent some time with St. Louis. That's why it looks so good.
He may have won a World Series ring with St. Louis in 2011, maybe, possibly. But so all right, this is. So I woke up to this news. I'm not gonna lie, I've not been awake that long, guys. So sorry, but I woke up to this news. I see, Lance Lynn's back. And first thoughts, I'm like, you have to be fucking kidding me. As Lance Lynn last year was probably one of the worst starting pitchers in all MLB. Close to a 6 ERA, meatball after meatball, home runs to everybody. He was not that good of a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, just not good. Not good. Got traded from the White Sox to the Dodgers to eat innings. And eat innings he did. Dodgers couldn't really fix him. He got shelled in the playoffs. His wife even flamed him on social media multiple times. Like thing after thing. But I'm not, after like processing my thoughts, after thinking about the move, it's not terrible. Lance Lynn's looking for a bounce back season. The Cardinals are also looking for a bounce back season. Lance Lynn has previous experiences being good with the St. Louis Cardinals. In 2015, he was pitching a sub-3 ERA, being our like number 2, number 1 pitcher in our like rotation. He hasn't been good for us before. The age is concerning. He is 36, going to be going on to 37, coming off a bad year. I'm hoping this isn't like what we did last year with Adam Wainwright, bring him back for one more year, and then he absolutely sucks. That's what I'm hoping for. But if Lance Lynn can pan out and be good and be the pitcher that he used to be, this is a good number 3 for us. We still need a number 1. We still need a number 2. We need those desperately bad. And no, Nola does hurt us. So it's Yamamoto, Gray, free agent wise or bust now. So then we have to get one of those guys, and then we have to trade for somebody. But man, I woke up to this. And now this also means, this is another reason why I'm unhappy. The Cardinals are building this rotation back to front, which is the worst way to do it. Because the front guys go first. And Mozeliak said, fuck the front guys. I want Lance Lynn. Lance Lynn's not a front guy no more. This is not 2015. But he can eat innings. He had 191 strikeouts in about 186 innings last year. And that's more strikeouts than any of our pitching staff had last year. He's an inning eater. We need that. We did just non-tender 2 guys for us last year, Dakota Hudson and Jake Woodford, who ate a bunch of innings for us. So we need an innings eater, high strikeouts percentage, however, high home run percentage. Busch Stadium is pitcher-friendly, doesn't give up too many home runs. So it could go good, but it could go bad. And that's why I'm worried, because it's more likely to go bad because he's coming off such a bad season. But then again, the Cardinals are coming off such a bad season. That's all I got.
Right.
It's no Aaron Nola, but I guess I'll take it.
It's no Aaron Nola.
Oh, we know it's
no Aaron Nola.
But
Brayden,
it's my last thing I will say. It's low risk, high reward.
okay.
The money's not is not
that.
terrible. 10 million is not terrible. It's because it's just a year. We have that money. We're gonna trade people and we're gonna free up more payroll. The front office wants to spend. It's not terrible. It's low risk, high reward. We need at least one inning eater because Steven Matz, the other 2 pitchers that we have in Milkis and Matz. Matz coming off injury. Milkis, how the fuck you want to say his name? I still don't know how to say his name, and I'm a diehard Cardinals fan. Sorry, Miles. Don't care. You kind of suck. But he can eat innings. Link can eat innings. Matz will be good, but he's coming off an injury, so who knows how many innings he'll be able to eat. Yeah, it is what it is. Low risk, high reward. I'm hoping for the high reward because I don't want to. See, no. That's exactly my worry. That right there is exactly my worry because if that happens, he's going to get DFA'd in June, and I'm going to be sitting here, and y'all going to be tweeting at me. They're going to be like, what happened, Si? Remember when he said all this? I'm going to be like, yeah, I said, not that. Not that. I'm done.
Are you done?
Brayden, go ahead.
I mean, if this was Lance Lynn in 2011, 2012, 13, it'd be a good signing. And I have nightmares still to this day of that rotation that featured him, Chris Carpenter, and Wainwright. Because, I mean, Jackson, I'm sure you know, as a young Cubs fans, what we were back then, that sucked. But, I mean, yeah, I guess there is a little bit of reward there. And if, he does do good, I mean, that's another trade piece for the Cardinals. If, that they could send him out, send him to a playoff caliber team in July, and he could go eat innings for a team like that and be a back end starter there. But I mean, Si's right. You got to build a rotation front to back, not back to front. And I mean, he's not going to be the Cardinals' opening day starter. So
I sure hope not. But then again, you never know because
never know.
our front office is stupid, point blank. And if that happens, then you're not going to hear the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Removing all bias from this situation, I think it's at least a solid signing. But I also just feel like this is a move. It's like if you have a homegrown starter or an ace already in your rotation, this was a good signing. But like you're saying, Si, the fact that Mozeliak is doing this back to front is concerning because I think at this point you have 3, 4, and 5 with Lynn, Michaelis, and Matz. Mm-hmm. You're just missing the 2 more important of the bunch, and you're an ace to number 2. So I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do. I think a good trade for them because the White Sox and GM Chris Getz have said basically the entire roster is available. Honestly, I think Dylan Cease is the most realistic ace for the Cardinals moving forward. I don't think it's going to be Glass now. I think he'll take a little bit more than the Cardinals are going to be able to trade for. I don't think Blake Snell's coming. I don't think Yamamoto. Of like the free agent guys, I would say Yamamoto, but I think overall, I think Dylan Cease is probably the most realistic option for the Cardinals moving forward. And just to pump my own Twitter account for a second, I had to do this.
I already know what's coming.
Yeah, it was just a little Cardinals fans. John, can we have Aaron Nola? John Mozeliak. We have Aaron Nola at home. Aaron Nola at home. Your new starter, Lance Lynn. So just had to throw that last piece in there. But
yeah.
So no Lance Lynn jersey purchase then this year? Or
no Lance Lynn jersey purchase. I can't. I don't think it's in the financial realms of me right now.
Not even from international sources?
Maybe if it's like okay, well, maybe if I can like thrift one, like get like an old Lance Lynn jersey that's already existed for a while. Maybe that. Otherwise, I don't think so.
Do you think if he does perform well and he's able to eat innings, and the Cardinals want to maybe sell again at the deadline, do you think they look at moving him? Especially because with the option's easier to trade a guy. You see a lot more trades when guys have that option.
I do believe that I hate that I'm saying this. If the Cardinals suck again, which I just don't see happening, but then again, they may have really messed themselves up last year and set ourselves back a couple years. But if we do suck, Lance Lynn's definitely the first pitcher to go. Especially if he's performing from like around the 4 ERA, he's definitely going. Because a team that's going to be actually chasing the playoffs, which hopefully the Cardinals are. Hopefully this doesn't happen, but I do realistically believe that Lance Lynn would be the first to go because it's just this is like a 1 year prove-it deal, basically. If he's good, they pick up the club option. If not, they say free agent again. Like. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah. And I think when you give up the most home runs for a starting pitcher at 44, I think you got a lot to prove for Lance Lynn. And I'm not trying to disparage Lance Lynn like, oh, he's a trash pitcher or anything. He just had a really bad season. And so he's got to prove that he can be, I wouldn't say 2020 White Sox Aaron Nola, but maybe like 2021 or parts of 2022, I think would be the best to hope for Lance Lynn on the Cardinals. But moving on for a second here, it was the tender deadline, and unfortunately, I don't mean these tenders, these glorious chicken tenders. It was the tender deadline for a bunch of different players. Basically, what it means is that if it's almost like a qualifying offer for restricted free agency for baseball and football and hockey fans out there, and for teams to keep players. If they don't keep them, they don't tender them, they become free agents. So we had some very interesting names become free agents. We'll get into some of those guys later. But I think we have to talk about the biggest one, right? The Milwaukee Brewers non-tendering Brandon Woodruff, a two-time All-Star pitcher who probably won't pitch most of 2024 with a shoulder surgery. Brayden, like, I was stunned. Like, you figured maybe they give him a 2-year deal or like a 1-year deal with like a mutual option just to keep him around, just to have him. But I was stunned by the fact that the Brewers did this. What did you think when you first heard this?
Yeah, I was extremely stunned as well. I mean, Brandon Woodruff has been one of the better pitchers in the league for the last few years. But the big thing is, yeah, he's not going to really pitch in 2024 with his shoulder surgery. But it still brings a what's the word I'm looking for? It brings the potential for a qualifying team to go out and get this guy. You know, he's going to rehab for 2024, and then a team that may be just on the brink of playoff contention to get him in 2024, and then he's ready to go in 2025. I mean, this is a big opportunity for some teams out there. Yeah, again, he's not pitching in 2024, but you know, he could be a top of the guy starter. He could be an ace for teams in 2025. So, but yeah, I was shocked, and we'll see where he goes and how much money teams want to spend on him.
Yeah, I think really the only reason he wasn't an ace with the Brewers is because they had Corbin Burnes ahead of him. And that's also to say that the Brewers' third starter, Peralta, he could probably be an ace on a few teams. But again, they had Woodruff and Burnes ahead of him. So it's going to be interesting. Cy, do you have any – first, just give me your reactions to this as well, and then maybe if you've thought about any teams that maybe would employ the services of Woodruff.
So, no one expected this move to happen besides maybe a couple of Brewers fans because, I mean, consolation team, you trade Mark Canha. The team was falling in the shambles every single day. So, this almost looks like nail in the coffin. This also, with them not tendering Woodruff, it's light in the end of the tunnel for Corbin Burnes. Corbin Burnes knows he's getting traded. He already has bad luck with the front office. So, Brewers going to keep falling apart. And as Cardinals and Cubs fans are like, we love that because we don't mess with the Brewers. So I'm all cool with Woodruff being gonzo out, done for. Like, cool, great, love that. Where I think he's going to go, because multiple teams are interested in him, according to, I think, MLB trade deadline or something, or one of the sources. That someone would sign him to a multi-year deal, and there's only one team that comes in my mind who is contending now, who could use a high-end starting pitcher who lacked in pitching last season, and that team is Baltimore Orioles. They could use another high-end pitcher. 2025, I feel like is like, yes, they're realistically going to compete this year, but 2025 is when all the young guns will be like really in their prime. They could use another high-end pitcher to join Bradish and Grace Rodriguez. Brandon Woodruff. It makes sense when you think about it. Outside of the Orioles, though, I'm going to toot our own Jack's horn. I could see him going to the Red Sox too. If the Red Sox want to contend, they want to use 2024 to build up when Woodruff will be rehabbing. It's time to a 2-3-year deal. See what Woodruff can do in 2025. Those are two teams that I think he would go to. But then again, also the LA Dodgers do exist, and they could easily just come in and swoop up Woodruff. So
that's what I was thinking. That seems like a very really Dodgers-esque type of player pickup. And again, that's exactly what the Dodgers would need.
Yeah. I just don't know if they want to sign another guy who's going to be coming off of surgery because they still have to re-sign. They still have to re-sign Clayton Kershaw. We don't know what he's going to do, and then Dustin May and I believe Walker Buehler are coming off major injuries. So I think they're going to want to have someone who, unless it's Shohei Ohtani, they're going to want to have someone who can pitch right away for them. And yeah, I think that could be something the Red Sox could do.
Exactly, Jack. Exactly.
I also see the Texas Rangers getting involved for Brandon Woodruff. They're going to have Jacob deGrom coming back this year. They still have Nathan Eovaldi. They have Max Scherzer. I don't know if John Gray is a free agent or not.
No.
So they still got those 4 guys. They could bring back Jordan Montgomery. And if they don't, they still have Dane Dunning to be their 5. So if they want to do that, you bring in Brandon Woodruff on like a 2 or 3 year deal, and you let him rehab with you, and then basically take over Max Scherzer's spot next year. Because I don't know how much longer Mad Max is going to last. I think the Texas Rangers only have a really good rotation. Even if Max Scherzer is bad and Jordan Montgomery doesn't come back, they still got DeGrom and Eovaldi and some really solid pieces in that starting rotation. So get a guy like Woodruff who could become that 3-2 mix behind DeGrom and Eovaldi. I think it'd be a perfect move for them.
Or, I mean, if we look at the opposite, we go to a team that, is just a couple players away from contending. Are they willing to wait a year, spend him some money, knowing that he's going to wait a year to pitch, and then, he's their top guy in the rotation. He's only 30 years old. I mean, to chalk that up to he's 31 until he can pitch again. I mean, you can still get, 3-4 good years out of him left.
Why do I feel like the Kansas City Royals would be a good spot for that? If there's a team looking for starting pitching, looking to spend a little bit of money, they already brought in Kyle Wright and what was his name? Nick Anderson for the rotation. They have Cole Reagans. So bringing a guy like Woodruff to mentor some of those younger guys as well, and then he'll be ready for 2025 to maybe when the Royals are in a better spot to contend. I like that. We're cooking, boys. We're cooking.
Brandon Woodruff could turn Brady Singers back into an ace caliber pitcher because he absolutely sucked last year. Give Brady Singer someone who is super high on an actual bona fide mentor, someone who's actually good. Yeah, he had Zach Greinke, but him and Zach Greinke are nowhere near the same pitcher. Woodruff and Singer are more like a similar pitcher. And he has postseason experience. He was an all-star. I'm not opposed. But I don't see the Royals going out and doing it. That's the problem. I more or less see the Detroit Tigers going out and doing a move like that instead of the Royals. But I still go with my heart and my guts telling me it's Boston or Baltimore.
I like that.
If we're thinking realistically, I think that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think those are all good spots. There's a couple more other notable guys that also got non-tendered. I just wanted to briefly touch on before we take our first break. Dakota Hudson, as you mentioned, Cy, he got non-tendered by the Cardinals.
Let's go. He's gone. I don't have to suffer anymore.
No, you got Lance Lynn now. You're suffering still.
No, we're not suffering as much.
That's what the Cardinals did. They just replaced Dakota Hudson with Lance Lynn.
No. Dakota Hudson was worse. The numbers may say Lance Lynn is worse, but I can at least have good memories with Lance Lynn.
That's true.
I don't have good memories with Dakota Hudson anymore. I had to watch Dakota Hudson start Game 4 of the 2019 NLDS. And he did it kind of good. He went 5 scoreless, but still, I had to watch that. And everybody's like, oh, this is our future. This is going to be a bona fide guy. No. He can't strike anybody out to save his life. He's a ground ball pitcher. And it's just not good, and it's not pretty. He's not he's gone. He's gone. And that's all I'm happy about. That's a future Washington National right there. Come on now. He is thank God he's gone. And Jake Woodford's gone too. I'm just my two least favorite mortal enemies on the Cardinals are both gone, and it makes me so happy. But we do have Lance Lynn, so take it with a grain of salt.
Yep. Yeah. So outside of Hudson, Nick Senzel was non-tendered by the Cincinnati Reds. I believe he was a top 10 pick in 2016, so he no longer with the Reds. And then a couple of big boy lefty power bats were also non-tendered. Rowdy Tellez of the Brewers was non-tendered, and then our Lord and Savior, our goat of all goats, Mr. Daniel Vogelbach, Danny Burgers, was non-tendered by the New York Mets. Outside of the Brewers and the Cardinals, the Mets have now become my least favorite team in all of baseball, simply for not giving Daniel Vogelbach another contract. But in all seriousness, it makes sense. I think it's DJ Stewart. They want him playing first base and DHing most of the time now, which totally makes sense. So just thoughts on the rest of those guys, especially Tellez with what it means for the Brewers, and then Daniel Vogelbach because it's Daniel Vogelbach.
Those two guys are going. They're going to the A's. They're going to the bottom feeder teams. They're going to Detroit.
Detroit is not a bottom feeder team. Detroit is not a bottom feeder team. Detroit is not a bottom feeder team, and I will argue that they are gunning up to try to make a run in the Central. Because if we're talking about bottom feeder teams, then we got to talk about Kansas City. We got to talk about Washington. We have to talk about Colorado. We got to talk about the Mets.
But yeah, I mean, they're just power bats. They're guys that are going to hit cleanup. They're guys that are going to hit at the bottom of the order, and they'll drive runs in. At least Rowdy, I just remember hearing Frank the Tank, hearing Daniel Vogel fat all year on TikTok and Twitter. So at least we don't have to live with that anymore. But no, I mean, where's the love to the big boys though? Let the big boys in there and eat.
Well, maybe that's part of the problem is because they're eating too much. But
one way to think about it. That is one way to think about it.
But no, in all seriousness, and I apologize if I offend anyone. But yeah, I think Daniel Vogelbach, if there's like a team in Rowdy Tellez, if there are teams that needed left-handed power off the bench, Brayden, you tell me what you think about this. Bring Daniel Vogelbach home. Bring him back to the Cubs as your backup first baseman, just left-handed power bat. I know Matt Mervis is in AAA, but we could just DFA him at the All-Star break like we did with Trey Mancini.
No,
bring Danny Burgers to Wrigley.
No, I can't go through all those DFA moves again. No. I'd rather have Rowdy Tellez.
Okay.
If I was to choose.
And it'll be fair since the Brewers have Victor Caratini. Although, isn't he a free agent now too? Isn't Caratini a free agent?
I believe so. Yes, he is. He is.
Okay.
I remember watching Draftneck Mark's video on his predictions for every single free agent, and Victor Caratini was in there. So
yes. I watched part of that video too. I stopped after I think he said Cody Bellinger to the Yankees. So
makes sense.
So
yeah. It's okay. I think he had Blake Snell to the Cubs, and I was tripping a little bit.
I like Blake Snell.
I know. You guys, that, but I don't think it's happening. But I do want to say, out of all the DFA moves, the Larry Tellez one made a lot of sense because they swindled a trade with the Yankees, and they brought in Jake Bowers, who is Rowdy Tellez but can play the outfield.
Yep.
It made sense. It made sense. They did give up a top 30. The Brewers did give up a top 30 prospect. Can't remember his name, but he's a reliever that can touch 100. That the Yankees are probably going to turn into the next Mariano Rivera because it's the fucking Yankees. But I mean, the moves make sense. I'm just happy Dakota Hudson's gone. I'm intrigued to see where Vogelbach is going to land. Because I feel like
A's.
I see. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know why he would look good in Toronto with the Blue Jays. I like the idea of Daniel Vogelbach playing in Canada.
That's actually, yeah. You can eat poutine every game.
What's crazy to
Be
me
a happy
is
man.
Vogelbach doesn't even have over 100 career home runs. He only has 80 career home runs.
Bring him to 100. Make it happen.
Oh my god!
Make it happen.
All right.
He can't run. He can't hit. Go to the.
But you need him for the memes. You need him for the online content. That's all you need him for.
Oakland A's need online content that's positive. Daniel Vogelbach. Look, I'll say it right now. I'm going to say this. If Daniel Vogelbach goes to Oakland A's, I think that Mr. MJ Hurley himself may have a Vogelbach jersey or shirt tee coming to him in the mail. Because I just think he needs that in his life. Saying it right now.
I think we all do, but some of these guys are going to need some good home insurance while they're still looking for their next team.
Erie Insurance says here's to the grown-ups who move, mortgage, mow, and still bust a move. But does your home insurance still fit? Erie helps you protect the home you've grown into, all at fair prices that are often less than the other guys. So how do you find the right coverage? Magic. Nope. Local independent agents who get to know you like this.
Your local Erie agent is Building Block Insurance Group. Get a quote today at 704-464-4544.
Erie Insurance.
And when you contact Jeff Wartepney at Jeff My Be Big, make sure to let him know that Jackson, Cy, and Brayden from Third Down Thursday sent you, and that all three of us are better at him at that Call of Duty. Before we get back into some baseball discussion, it's time. You already know what's coming. It's Cy's Underdogs. Cy, what's your latest parlay for tonight's Monday Night Football?
All right, guys. We got game of the week on tonight. Super Bowl rematch. Phillies versus the Chiefs. We got a 5-leg parlay, little $2 bet. Hopefully won me $50. We got Jalen Hurts higher than 21.5 completions. I was teetering on this. I wasn't sure to go lower, wasn't sure to go higher, but Chiefs defense isn't the best. So I see Hurts probably going 23 for 40, 24 for 40. He's going to be throwing the ball. The brotherly shove's not going to work tonight. Hate to break it to you. Isaiah Pacheco higher than 40.5 rushing yards. Pacheco has proven himself that he is RB1 in Kansas City. He's getting more and more of like the snap counts, snap percentage.
Mm-hmm.
Should be a slam. That should be a slam dunk. Probably I can see 56, 57 rushing yards for him. Sky Moore higher than 15.5 receiving yards. Yes, Travis Kelce exists. Yes, Pacheco exists. But over 15 yards, that's doable. All Sky Moore needs to do is catch like 2 balls for 7 yards, 8 yards each. He's got that. Patrick Mahomes, lower than 30.5 passing attempts. He hasn't been throwing the ball as much. He's been averaging 35 to 38. I just don't see him going higher. If he goes higher, it's going to be 39 to 40, though, and I'm going to be very sad. But I don't think this game's going to be as high scoring as people think it is. So taking the lower. And then DeAndre Swift, higher than half a rush or receiving touchdown. Swift's been outside of A.J. Brown, has been arguably one of their most consistent guys. It's bound to happen. A little 2-yard goal line rush to open the game up. It's bound to happen. So hoping it hits. I've been on a dry spell though, betting wise. So I feel good, but every time I feel good, it never hits. So I don't know. Hopefully, just luck's on my side. Best way I can put it.
Nothing with Travis Kelce since it's the Kelce Bowl tonight. Not feeling
No,
with Travis tonight?
I'm staying away from the Kelce Bulls. I feel like Kelsey's gonna get clamped up. I think the line was like 80 yards over under, and I'm staying away from that.
That's fair.
That's fair enough.
I didn't even want to bet on Mahomes. I tried betting on the kicker instead, but they wouldn't let me do it. Because how underdog works is in like certain things they just won't let you do. They're like, you have to remove this to unlock it. You have to remove this to unlock it. So it's like, okay, looks like I have to bet on Patrick Mahomes. It's like, I'm not betting on Kadarius Toney. Learn the hard way. Don't bet on him. I'm not betting on Jerry McKinnon. Like, I don't know. I'm just hoping for good vibes.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we're gonna have to kill some of those good vibes, because as we haven't talked about yet. We were talking a lot about the Oakland A's. Well, apparently they won't be the Oakland A's for too much longer because the A's move to Vegas was officially greenlit by the owners of the NFL, or excuse me, the MLB. Sorry, I saw a tweet from Ian Rappaport, so that's why I thought NFL. The owners of the MLB, they officially approved the Oakland A's move to Las Vegas. It's a shit show of a situation in terms of the stadium because the A's lease runs out in Oakland in 2024. And then they're end up playing in their AAA affiliates stadium until 2027 when their 5-acre land or 8-acre land stadium is built and finished. So sorry to our guy, our boss, MJ. None of us wanted to see this. As always, it's fuck John Fisher, always and forever.
Amen.
I know I gave a mini rant. Do you guys want to share your rants really quick?
I've said it once. I'll say it again. Fuck John Fisher. Why? Like, after everything that this fan base has been through, after everything that he has done to this fan base, tearing them their team, never giving them a successful team to root for. Like, they had so many pieces. They used to be so good. What happened? Why are you a bum and a fraud and a scaredy cat? Why can you not just come out and sell the motherfucking team? Like, I get it. You want money. That's what's probably going to happen is this whole moving to Las Vegas is just for you to make this team worth a little bit more, get them, push them out the door, put them on the right foot in Vegas, and then sell the team. There's just, like, stop hiding in the fucking shadows. I get it. You're a fraud of an owner. You are a fraud of a man. But come on. Give that fan base, that loyal fan base, something to root for, something to cheer for. Because right now, they don't got nothing. They have Abraham Toro and Brent Rooker to cheer for right now. That's not that much, if anything at all. Sell the team, John. Everybody wants you to. Why won't you do it? Stop hiding in your fancy-ass golf resorts, sipping mimosas, and come out and sell the team. That's all I got.
Cy pretty much said it all. I mean, sell the team. Vegas is the Mecca now. Poor Oakland fans.
Oakland's lost 3 teams in the past, decade. That's just...
Yep. And
they don't deserve that.
Yeah, they've lost, like you guys said, they've lost 3 teams now in the past, 5 to 10 years because the Raiders moved to Vegas, what was it, at 2019 or something? Even the Warriors, they moved to San Francisco. They moved out of Oracle Arena. And then now the Oakland A's are moving to Vegas. And even just some of the other cities in California, San Diego lost the Chargers a few years ago to go to LA where nobody cares. Like, these owners are so devalue their fans in the area. And the mayor or the whatever, or the city president of Oakland did everything she could to try and keep the A's in Oakland. They were willing to give John Fisher a lot and to give him a lot more land to build up developments for this new stadium that they want. Because we can all agree, Oakland Coliseum is not what it used to be. There's a lot of different issues with that stadium that needed to be fixed. And obviously it would have cost a heck of a lot more to fix them than to just build a new stadium. it's just annoying because you get these guys who just think of these teams as a tax write-off and not as something that is heavily involved in people's lives. So John Fisher should have been forced to sell the team years ago if this was his plan all along. I know it's going to make Major League Baseball a lot of money. And in all honesty, I think there's been some maybe rumblings about like baseball doing an expansion at some point. Force the A's to change their name and give Oakland their baseball team back. If this is what you're going to do, this is essentially because I think in the NBA, they basically have said they're going to expand at some point, and Seattle's one of the first teams that's going to get their team back. If you do this, if you go through with this, strip the A's of their name and give them to the new team that's going to be in Oakland, owned by somebody else with a new stadium, and just give a big middle finger to John Fisher. If I was Rob Manfred, that's what I would have done. He's not going to do that because he's a sniveling coward, but that's what I would like to see happen. So,
amen to that.
Okay, rant time over. There's been a ton of trades going on, as obviously it's in the off season for a while now. We'll start with this one. This was a big one, and it's surprising for how much the Chicago White Sox were able to get for Aaron Bummer. We're throwing it on the screen below. They get former All-Star Mike Soroka, left-handed pitcher Jared Schuster, shortstop Brandon Shootmake, infielder Nicky Lopez, who the Braves traded for at the deadline this past year, and then they also get right-hander Riley Goins. For a guy who had an over 6 ERA last year, to get, 5 players, including a former All-Star pitcher, that's a pretty good trade for Chris Getz. And yes, I know Mike Soroka is not as good as he once was in 2021, but this is still a bit of a shocking move, to say the least.
So this is I want to take my perspective on this first, because this is how I was looking at it. I was looking at Braves roster. I was looking at like all the rumblings that were going on, and yes, Aaron Bummer pitched a 6-something ERA last year, but Aaron Bummer also had no protection in that bullpen. He was the best arm in that bullpen. The White Sox sucked last year, and it's hard to compete when your team sucks.
Mm-hmm.
The 4 guys in Schuster, Shoemake, Nicky Lopez, and Soroka, along with the minor leaguer Goins, those 4, the 5, all had a 40-man roster spot. They were going to be non-tendered. And, well, I love that Chris Getz, who has come out openly and said that they're open for business, anybody can be traded for. I love that he picked up 4 guys that will help out his team next in 2024, because the White Sox aren't going to be good. They're going to suck. But Nicky Lopez, it can be versatile in the infield. Shoemake was a former first-round pick, only has maybe 4 games up in the major league level. But he's a former first-round pick. He can take over Tim Anderson's spot in theory. Soroka had to rehab his Achilles twice, and he needs a fresh start, fresh scene. He has a guaranteed spot in the rotation to just prove it. What can you do? What do you have in the tank? Because if he can go back to that 2019 ace level, White Sox got him for nothing. And then Schuster, another former high pick from the Braves, he's pitched in 16 or so games last year. He did not pitch great, 5-something ERA, not great. So these are all guys that are going to be non-tendered, that are going to be DFA'd. Good for Chris Getz to get them to basically this is like a free flyer, like a tryout, just to be like, okay, what can you do? As for the Braves getting Bummer, this is already a really good bullpen. You know what you're getting. You know what to expect when the Braves get to that 7th, 8th, 9th inning and they go to AJ Minter, Raisel Iglesias, Tyler Matzik. This is a third lefty to accompany that pen. And You know what the Braves can do. They turned Pierce Johnson from a 5 ERA pitcher to a 2 ERA pitcher when they traded for him in the trade deadline in 2023. They're going to take this 6 ERA pitcher Aaron Bummer is. They're going to look at his numbers. They're going to see they know what he can do. He's lethal from the left side. He's been lethal for a while. That 6 ERA is now going to be a 3 ERA because he has protection. The Braves are going to use him in the right spots. They're not going to overuse him because they have 2 other lethal lefties. It's a great move for both sides. If Anthopoulos is getting value, whatever value he can for 5 players, he gave up 5 players. Oh well, they weren't going to be on the team within 3 days.
Yep.
He's getting something in return, and he's getting something that Braves fans should look at this and be like, oh my goodness, we gave up 5 players to Aaron Bummer, but look at what Aaron Bummer's done, and be like, oh my goodness, we're getting this? Yeah. It's a good trade for both sides.
Yeah, I agree with Cy. Bummer was like one of the best relievers in 2019, having a 2.13 ERA. He's lethal from the left side, and the White Sox were terrible last year. Terrible defense. I think I saw something along the lines of like Bummer had one of the lowest batting average on balls in play or something like that. So this is and either way for Atlanta, if Bummer doesn't work out, they're just clearing up roster spots. They're clearing up money. They're going to make their run at the market. They're going to try to add as much as they can. So either way, it's a win-win. But yeah, Bummer's a good pitcher, good lefty specialist, upper 90s fastball, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah, I think that's all really good for them. Again, I think the Braves needed more arms, and I think again for the White Sox who are in a transitioning to a rebuild, I think getting a guy like Mike Soroka to where if he pops off, you got your guy, and maybe trading away Dylan Cease doesn't hurt as much if that's what they're planning to do. Or you have a 1-2 punch of Dylan Cease and Mike Soroka as your 1 and 2, because both of those guys are still fairly young. So it's not like one of Soroka's in his like mid 30s or anything like that. So I think it's a great trade for both sides. Honestly, I think they got some players that, at least in the terms of like Nicky Lopez and some of those other guys, they'll help out just for this year, just to be so the White Sox have bodies. But I think if Soroka and some of these like lower level prospects can pan out, I think this is going to be a really good trade for them. I want to get through a few more trades, just quick rapid fire. Luis Urias has been traded from the Boston Red Sox to the Seattle Mariners. Should be interesting to see what happens there. We already mentioned it a little bit earlier. Nick Anderson is on his way to Kansas City. The great cash considerations is on its way to Atlanta. We'll see what cash considerations can do for the Braves. The Guardians get Scott Barlow from the Padres. Aniel De Los Santos is heading to San Diego. Just an easy swap of late inning relievers. And then I think, all right, that's and then also Peter Bendix, who took over as the general manager for the Miami Marlins. He has made a trade with his former team in the Tampa Bay Rays. He received Vidal Brujan and Calvin Foucher. The Rays received Eric Lara, Andrew Lindsay, and still a player to be named later, or probably cash considerations again. So those were some of the smaller moves that I wanted to get out of the way, just because I thought this one was really interesting. We talked a little bit about it earlier. Kyle Wright is in Kansas City for Jackson Kowar. Brayden, I'll start with you. Just thoughts on the Royals adding some pitching to kind of give Cole Reagan some support, so he's not the only pitcher who can pitch under a 4 ERA next year for Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City's, they're making headlines on their rebuild process. Going aside from pitching, obviously Bobby Witt, Salvador Perez has still got some good years left on him. So this is a good move for the Royals. It gives them potential to have a top of the arm guy, and Royals are going to start. I'm sure they'll start adding some more players here in free agency as time goes on, and it's a good pickup for them.
Ty?
So if I remember correctly, Kyle Wright is out all 2024 recovering from Tommy John surgery. So how I'm viewing this move is, I think that the Royals are going to take one more retool year, and starting 2025, they are going to compete because they want to keep Bobby Witt around. They want to get the last couple good years out of Salvador Perez. They have young guys. They're starting to get the pieces to compete. Kyle Wright can be ace level pitching, and with a pitching staff that has not been good for a while, having Reagans, Brady Singer, Kyle Wright as like a 1-2-3 in 2025 with hopefully a couple of vet pieces, that's not bad. That can play. And knowing how Atlanta is, they're going to turn whatever his name was, I kind of forgot it, Ferris or
Jackson
whatever. Kowar. Him. I don't know why I thought his last name was Ferris. They're going to turn him into a swingman. That's what he's going to be. Or he's going to be he's going to be a swingman. He's going to be a good depth arm, could pitch in the bullpen, could spot start here and there. The Braves are a pitching mastermind. I don't know how they do it, but they're going to turn him into some stud. And they knew that they weren't going to get anything out of Kyle Wright in 2024. Yeah, he's been with the team through a lot, but the Braves need to compete. The Braves need arms that can pitch for them this year. They can't wait. That's why they got rid of Soroka. That's why they got rid of Kyle Wright. They need to compete now. Then they don't care what they need to do. So,
yeah, and
I like the move for both sides.
Yeah, and this is good for the Royals because Wright still has 2 more years of arbitration available to him in 2025 and 2026 before he becomes a free agent. In 2027, he'll only be 31 years old. So if he pitches well for the Royals, they can give him a big contract extension that'll probably get him until he's 35, 36 years old. Even if they give him one after this year, if he pitches great. And if he doesn't, they keep him around for a couple of years and then try and recoup some value later. And we'll see what Jackson Kowar does for them as well. So, and one last note that I want to get to before we get to the rumor mill. Former Orioles and Yankees closer Zach Britton has officially hung up the cleats. He made his announcement today over social media today. Shout out to Zach Britton, one of the best left-handed relievers and closers, I would probably say, of the last 10 or 15 years, probably the century. It's 2000s. I think I saw an article where they ranked him as the 39th greatest Baltimore Oriole of all time. I think that's well-deserved. So shout out to Zach Britton. Enjoy retirement. I know, Sai, you were kind of shocked to see that Britton had retired when I first sent in the group chat this morning.
I thought he had a couple more years in him. And also, when I think of Zach Britton, I think of how good he is in the MLB The Show, or how good he has been. And that means he won't be in the game anymore, and that makes me kind of sad. But I do think that if Zach Britton had a little bit of W energy in his system, he would have stuck around a couple more years. For those who don't know, this is my favorite part of the show every week. We are here at Third Down Thursday and Beavers Ivy are sponsored by W Energy. W Energy was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Our formula contains the vitamins, amino acids, and non-tropics, including the patented neural factor. W contains no calories, no sugars, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors. It is a great natural energy to give you that boost, to give you that little spark that you need. And frankly, if Zach Britton has some out of his system, I think he would have stuck around one more year. I can say the same thing about Trevor May too, because I don't think neither of them should retire this year, but that's just me. But as always, if W Energy interests you, or your brother, or your dog, actually not your dog might die if it has W Energy. Don't quote me on that.
We don't know about that, but it probably still
should. We don't know about that one, but don't give your dog good energy. But if it interests you or someone that you know, use our code Third Down Thursdays for 10% off. And as always, Thank you, Dubby. We always give you the shout every week because our main show won't.
Good stuff, Cy. All right, we are officially at the MLB rumor mill. It's that time of the show.
I got a rumor.
The first one we got today, it's not necessarily a rumor, just some bigger news.
My ace.
One of the top 3 pitching options available this free agency, the second best Japanese player available during this free agency.
Wow.
Do you have to think about that for a second, Sai?
Yes.
That was?
I thought you were talking about Shoto Amaga for a second. I was like, wait a minute. No, he's talking about Shohei. You're right. He is the second best. But it is close. Ish.
Oh my gosh. Okay. But yeah, so Yoshinobu Yamamoto was officially posted by the Oryx Buffaloes out in Japan. The window began today at 7 a.m. on the 21st, and it will go until 4 p.m. on January 4th. So that's the period of time MLB teams have an opportunity to negotiate a contract. I'm assuming one gets done. If for some reason nothing did, I think he just goes back to Japan, if I remember that correctly. But there's already been some rumors thrown out of where he could go. The Yankees have been thrown in. As I think I sent to Sai, or you sent it to me, Sai, that he went golfing with Lars Nootbaar a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, he did.
The Cubs have been linked.
Posted about it too. They both posted about it too. Both him and Lars posted about it. That's notable. There's been underlying connections for a while now with St. Louis and Yamamoto. So I'm telling you, St. Louis may not be like in the news, but don't be surprised when it happens. Especially because Aaron Nola is not a St. Louis Cardinal. That just means Yamamoto will be. I don't make up the rules. Don't be surprised when it happens.
Oh my god. But anyway, he's also been rumored to go to the Chicago Cubs. I think he might have been linked to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I know he's also been linked to the Philadelphia Phillies. So they're going out in the market. So taking out all of our bias, where do we realistically think Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to go? Brayden, I'll start with you.
Well, he's definitely going to go to a big market team. So I'm thinking Dodgers. I'm thinking Yankees. If I had to flip a coin, I'd probably say the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers are going to spend an absurd amount of money on him. He's going to be the new ace in LA once Kershaw retires. I'm sure Kershaw will be back for another year, but I think Yamamoto goes to LA. But putting my bias back in the conversation, I think he'd look great in Cubby Blue. He'd look good behind Justin Steele.
Behind Justin Steele? No.
We don't know how good he's going to be at the MLB level.
Yamamoto's the ace.
Justin Steele is a top 5 Cy Young vote getter.
Justin Steele is going to be Cubs opening day
Zach
guy.
Gallen.
Yeah, Zach Gallen's good too, but Yamamoto would start behind Zach Gallen if he went to Arizona.
No, he would not. Justin Steele would be behind Zach Gallen. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Whoa.
We're talking about the rumor mill here. We're not.
Yeah.
That's not a rumor.
Oh no, it is.
Oh my god.
Yamamoto would be the ace. Put your Cubs bias to your side and just realize how good Yamamoto's going to be.
He's going to be good.
I think it would be out of more of a respect thing for Justin Steele. Yamamoto could be better. We don't know yet. He looks great in Japan, but we've seen other guys basically turned out to be mid. Like Masahiro Tanaka was okay with the Yankees, but he never was a top 10 pitcher or anything like that. So I think Yamamoto has the potential to be better than a Justin Steele, 1,000%. But I think out of just respect for what Justin Steele this past season. If the Cubs were able to get Yamamoto, he would be the number 2, but the only reason he'd beat the Cardinals ace is because they have nobody else. So,
So funny.
so true.
Yeah, I'm aware it's true, but that does not mean you have to say it.
but yeah, no. Again, it should be interesting to see where he goes. Realistically, if money was not an object, I'd love to see him go to Baltimore. I think that would be a great spot for him to go. I'd love to see him go to the Mariners too. I don't know what their market's going to be like for spending this year because they're in and out when they spend. Like they'll give Robinson Cano over almost $200 million one year, but then really won't spend the next. So I'd love to see him out in Seattle as well. But it's going to be an interesting time to see where second best Japanese player is going to go, because we also have to talk about the best Japanese player on the market. And from everything we have been seeing, it is between the Cubs and the Dodgers who are aggressively betting for Shohei Ohtani. There's a report that he is expected to make his decision, or it was most likely he could make his decision at the winter meetings between December 4th and 7th. That would make a lot of sense. Oh boy, did you see something, Sai? What's going on?
I have 2 notes.
Okay.
They're two rumors that I've seen so far. I'll start with the more modern one. Detroit. So John Morossi came out about 20 minutes ago saying that Detroit has been in on the free agent market. Jay checked into Lance Lynn before he was signed to the Cardinals.
Okay.
And Seth Lugo is heavily rumored to be like one of the main pitchers that Detroit's looking at. Lugo pitched to a 3.35 ERA in his last 18 starts. So keeping that that's notable. But this is more notable to me. Brandon Schaefer, one of our Cardinals writers, came out 6 minutes ago saying Daniel Scalzo officially named the Cardinals bench coach.
Okay.
Oh.
Which is I like the move. This is a savvy move. That's what he says, it's a savvy move, and I agree. Descalso is a winner. Descalso has won with the Cardinals. This is his first coaching job, which is interesting, but good baseball IQ. He's bringing a winning mentality to the team, and I like it. I like Daniel Descalso. He's a great guy. Fantastic guy. So I like it.
Okay, cool.
Well, the Cardinals are going to need a lot more than Daniel Descalso.
Shut up. I don't stop.
But
I don't care.
yeah, so the last report I saw quickly is that this was from Bruce Levine for 670 The Score in Chicago. So the Cubs and Dodgers are the front runners for Shohei Ohtani. This is not a pipe dream. The Cubs are in. Ohtani will likely make a decision during the winter meetings, December 4th to the 7th. So, Brayden, I have to start with you, my fellow Cubs brethren. What would it mean to you? And do you believe that the Cubs are actually in on getting the greatest two-way player in baseball history?
If the Cubs would do nothing else, just shine Shohei Ohtani, I think that's a successful free agency. I don't care if they go out and they don't get another pitcher or upgrade at first base or anything like that. If they were just to get Shohei Ohtani, just the hitter Shohei Ohtani, not even the pitcher Shohei Ohtani. I mean, come on. I mean, his jersey would be immediately top selling. Wrigley would already be higher than it already is. Ticket prices would go out the roof. I think the Cubs are all in on Shohei. Obviously, it's tough to compete with LA of how much money they have and how much of a market they have. But, man, seeing Shohei and Seiya Suzuki, Seiya's doing his work. I get it. Yamamoto went golfing with Lars Nootbaar. Okay. Seiya is putting in the work with Shohei. They're constantly texting back and forth. Seiya's over there. Hey, Chicago's great. It's a great place to play baseball. I think Shohei's got to be a Cub. Come December 4th through 7th, Shohei is going to be wearing that Cubby blue.
Man, it's crazy because I'm going to counter you. You're right. So Shohei does all of that. But hey, I mean, I just want to say Lars Nootbaar's mom and Yamamoto's mom, they're best friends. They talk all the time. Yamamoto and Nootbaar are close. So you can say this about the Suzuki and Ohtani connection. I can say the same thing about the Nootbaar and Yamamoto connection.
Yeah, that's fine. You can have Yamamoto as long as we get Ohtani.
Fine.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you can have Yamamoto.
It's crazy because Yamamoto is going to own Ohtani for the next 10 years. It's crazy.
I don't know about all that.
Oh my God! This man did not
crazy.
just say. This man did not
It's
just say that
true.
Yamamoto
It's
is going to
crazy, but it's
dominate
true.
one of the best
It's
hitter in
crazy, but it's
baseball
true.
for 10 years.
It's crazy,
This
but
man
it's
is
true.
unserious. This is
It's
such
crazy, but
unserious
it's true.
behavior. I can't
It's
believe this.
unserious?
I'm sorry
It's
for the people
unserious?
watching at home.
It's
This is just
unserious?
this is just not what we do here at Beer vs. Ed. We do not say such
boo-hoo.
slanderous and crazy
Boo-hoo.
stuff here. I apologize for that.
Boo-hoo. I'm not going to apologize for nothing because I know that I'm right. Okay, yeah, you guys get Ohtani. You guys can celebrate for 3 months straight. It's going to be crazy when he still won't have a ring.
Yeah, same thing with Yamamoto for his entire tenure with the Cardinals. So just because
Yeah,
Arenado's going to get retired,
With the Cavs.
Cole Goldschmidt's going to
We both
retire.
said the same thing. We both said the same thing, that both our teams aren't going to have a ring. Like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, but see, the Cubs are at least going to be able to compete for a ring. The Cardinals are still another 2 years away from even touching the postseason.
Boo-hoo. You just...
Yeah, you can battle out last place with the Brewers for this year
Right.
because it's
11
gonna.
more than 3. 11 is more than 3.
Yeah, but the last time you won a World Series, I was in middle school, and you two were probably in elementary school. So I want to hear it. So yeah, and your great Adam Wainwright sucked in his last season and only stayed to get 200 wins.
300 wins.
Hashtag not Hall of Fame. Hashtag Hall of Very Good.
No, you're right. He is. He is Hall of Very Good. But he's a Cardinals Hall of Famer. He done his stuff for that. He may get his number retired. I don't think he will, but he does have the third most wins in Cardinals history. Whatever. I digress. 11 more than 3. Cardinals better. Don't care what you say.
Oh my God.
Can we keep talking about Shohei as a Cub? That conversation.
Sure. Why not? Why not?
Removing the banter here for just a second. This would be like Chicago has been teased for a lot of like super like mega star free agents. It started in 2010 with not getting LeBron James and Dwayne Wade with the Bulls. Then 2014, not getting Carmelo Anthony, which honestly was probably for the best in getting Pau Gasol instead, but having Carmelo Anthony with Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler, and Joakim Noah would have been nice. And just so many other guys. Those are like the biggest ones I can think of. The Bears have signed Julius Peppers before. They traded for Khalil Mack, but they've never gotten like that mega star free agent. And yes, John Lester, very, very good pitcher. But I don't think I would put him in a mega star pitcher where when he got signed in 2015, a mega star at that time would have been a Clayton Kershaw or someone like that. That's the only guy I can think of because he's one of the few guys who's been in the league that long and who's still kind of good. And then obviously Jason Hayward. It's not like they got Mike Trout. They missed out on Bryce Harper. They didn't bring in they didn't. It wasn't Josh Donaldson. I thought it was like another player. Oh no, because Harper and Bryant were friends because they're both from Vegas. Not getting Bryce Harper. Trading away Yu Darvish at some point and him being amazing with the Padres. So for all of Chicago sports, this would be basically signing LeBron James as a free agent, or maybe not to the same heights, but signing Michael Jordan as a free agent if he ever left the Bulls, like in 1994. It would be, I've talked about it with a whole bunch of different people. I would melt. I'd physically melt. like getting Craig Counsell, like everyone saw my reaction to all of that and me losing my headphones and nearly hitting my head on the wall. I'd probably just spontaneously combust if Shohei Ohtani became a Chicago Cub. Like, yes, he's not going to pitch in 2024. And around a lot of the executives who are going after Shohei Ohtani, their concern is, what is his passion for pitching? Because it's been rumored that he really just loves hitting and doesn't love pitching as much. So that's the big thing teams are going to have to figure out is if in 2025, will he want to pitch again? And if not, then that's going to change for the type of money he gets. But if he wants to continue pitching, then he's going to make himself probably $500 million at least.
The first part of Shohei's career was wasted in LA. And now he has the opportunity to get out of LA. Because who wants to live in LA anyway? Come to Chicago. I don't even live in Illinois anymore, but come to Chicago. Come to Illinois. Rebrand Chicago sports. I'm not a Bears fan, but give us Hawks fans after Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves is gone. Ohtani can now be the centerpiece of Chicago sports. Jackson, you said it exactly right, that this is Michael Jordan all over again. This is Patrick Kane again. Like, this could literally be it. Like, again, if the Cubs do nothing else in free agency but get Shohei Ohtani, I mean, that's a win, right? Like, what else realistically? What would you want? You got a guy who's going to hit 40 home runs, and if he does pitch in 2025, you got a guy who can be the best pitcher in the league. So
there would be only two other things I would want if we were able to get Ohtani, and that's to get Imanaga or like re-sign Marcus Stroman as our number 2 or 3 guy, and then bring back Cody Bellinger. Those are the only things. Like, if I couldn't spend anything else, just 2 more things, those would be my 2 things.
Yeah. Well, if the Cubs don't end up getting Ohtani, they have to get Bellinger. I don't think you can go out of this free agency without a big slugger like Ohtani or Bellinger, because then right now the Cubs are kind of lacking in the power department other than Dansby, and they just call
Dansby Swanson a power hitter?
Yeah,
he had over 20 home runs.
Yeah. I guess you're right.
I
think of the glove before I think of the bat, but
it's true.
Continue.
Anyway.
Continue.
Yeah, the Cubs need that power bat, and Bellinger's that guy. Ohtani's definitely that guy. So,
what about Mr. Polar Bear?
Not if it's for Christopher Morel straight up. The Cubs have enough prospects to get that done without I don't know.
I think you have to be all in for Ohtani first before you look at trading for Pete Alonso.
Exactly.
Just the other day, I don't know if you guys already spoke on it beforehand. I don't think you did, but like the Cubs just gave Patrick Wisdom another contract. You know, that's baby Polar Bear S type, and so you want another guy that, you know, it's either strikeout or home run type of guy. So,
yeah, it was his defense at first base is okay, but if you're getting Ohtani's going to be your full-time DH, and then I don't think you want Pete Alonso playing first base every day at that point. Right. So, I would personally, if you're getting another big guy, get Juan Soto.
Oh, here we go.
And figure out that outfield situation and first base. The problem is that you would love to play Christopher Morel at first base if you don't bring back Cody Bellinger and you bring in Juan Soto. But then you'd probably have to trade Morel Soto.
Or I think either way, Morel's going to be gone, whether it's Juan Soto or Alonso that would come over to the Cubs. Morel will be gone.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll get to one more rumor because this show's already running an hour and a half, and I have work in an hour, so I have to start getting ready for that. One last rumor, and it's the damn Atlanta Braves again. They obviously have shipped out a ton of starting pitching that they had They are already trying to go. They were rumored to be for Shohei Ohtani and some other guys, but they're also rumored to steal another favorite of size, and that would be Sonny Gray. He has been linked to potentially going to the Atlanta Braves. No, and no. Like, the Braves do not deserve Sonny Gray. Like, I wouldn't say I would prefer him to see him on the Cardinals, but I'm very close to saying that. That's how much
You just
I
said
would
it.
hate to see him in Atlanta. But I had context. I said almost. I'm almost there. That's how much I hate the Braves.
Okay.
I would still rather see him on the Braves than the Cardinals, but it's very close to where I would say it the other way.
Sir, yes,
So.
sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
Your guys' thoughts on Sonny Gray potentially going to the Braves and messing everything up?
Yeah, no, I'm good on that. I don't. No Sonny Gray to the Braves, please. Stay in the AL. Just where we don't even come to the NL. Just stay in the AL. Don't even need to worry about you. Just that's good for me.
Come home. We're waiting.
I don't call St. Louis home anymore.
Okay, yeah, that's all right. Yep, whatever you say.
This man's not even from St. Louis. He's from Nashville. You can't even say come home. Oh my God.
Don't care, come home. St. Louis will be home. We will welcome you with open arms. The Emo's pizza sponsorship is calling your name. Come on. Come home.
Oh, dear Lord.
I need something right now. Lance Lynn is not doing it for me.
You got Lance Lynn. That's your something.
He's technically coming. He came home. Sonny Gray will be called his new home, St. Louis. And we'll get the World Series that he deserves.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, before we end this one out, we have to show our favorite guy of all time, Mr. Cardman. Guys, great show. That was exactly what I was hoping for. I figured it would probably go this long. But Brayden, shout out to you for coming on and talking and giving me a little support with my Cub stuff with Cy. I really appreciate that.
I see you need it. Jeez, Cy, dude, you're coming in for the heart here.
I have to. I knew I was outnumbered coming into the show, so I'm like, all right, we're going for fatal blows only.
Brayden, what do you have coming down the pipeline for TDT, and where can people follow you for all your coverage?
Falcons again. I cover the Falcons for TDT, so their midseason recap, it will be up at 3:30 today. Make sure to check that out. Follow me on Twitter, BC_3221 for Falcons, Blackhawks stuff, Cubs stuff. Someone will have to cover once Shohei signs with the Cubs. But yeah.
Okay.
Second half of the Falcons season going to be really, really in-depth on that. Desmond Ridder was just confirmed starter today by Arthur Smith. So that's what I got on my end. So again, thanks guys for having me on. This was really fun. Let's do this again sometime.
Yeah. And for those wondering, if Shohei or Yamamoto are to sign with one of our respective teams, especially Yamamoto to the Cardinals or Shohei to the Cubs, there will be an emergency episode of Beer versus Ivy. So if that happens, We may, especially if Shohei comes to the Cubs, we're gonna have to have Bruce and Brayden on. I think that's gonna be a must. I'm sorry, Sai.
That's fine. I'll argue with all of you.
If Yamamoto goes to the Cardinals, you can bring on some Cardinals people. We'll figure something out with that. So I give you the floor for that if we can make that happen. So Brayden, again, thank you for coming on. Great discussion with all the Shohei stuff at the end and just overall for this episode. Thank you very much. Sai, great stuff as always. And for everyone who watched and commented, shout out to Jack Gaffney, our resident Patriots and Boston and Chiefsaholic obsessor. That was what I was looking for.
Jack is having a field day right now with the mini doc that dropped on Chiefsaholic. He is loving life right now. So shout out, Jack. The Twitter notifications been going off for me this whole show. I'm just this boy.
Yeah, he needed this. The Patriots are having one of their worst seasons since all of us have been alive. So shout out to Jack for that and having at least something to smile about these days. So thank you to everyone who's watched. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next week or potentially sooner. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But thank you again for watching and have a great rest of your